Welcome to the Concrete Hood Podcast, where we delve into the real stories and experiences of those living in urban communities across this country. From the grit and grind of inner city life to the inspiring stories of individuals overcoming adversity, we explore the diverse cultures, struggles, and triumphs of the people who call these communities home. Join us as we speak with community leaders, artists, activists, and everyday people who are making a difference in their neighborhoods. We'll discuss the social and political issues that impact our communities and highlight the positive initiatives and programs that are changing lives. So, whether you're from the city or the suburbs, we invite you to join us on this journey as we navigate the concrete hood together.
And thank y'all for tuning in again to Concrete Hood Podcast. I was Polo the Don at Polo underscore the Don one Instagram. Uh, I'm live, man, with the one and only Chicago Alderman, man. You know, he should have been our next mayor. I don't know what y'all tripping on, man. Y'all really tripping, man. But you know what? We gonna get him in the runnings though. We gonna get him in the runnings, man, because man, this gentleman I'm finna bring to y'all, man, he plays a major impact on my life, man. You know, this is my big brother, man. I was driving that 10 because of this guy, you know. He wasn't afraid to put me behind the wheel, man. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, man, you know. And he's always been an instrument, man. He always been vocal. You know what I'm saying? You know, we might not talk every day, but you know, it don't change the bond, it don't change the relationship, man. That's how you know real shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know real shit when it's like that. You know what I'm saying? And I want to introduce, man, my big brother, man, Mario, man. Mario, what's up, baby?
Nothing much, little bro. I appreciate the introduction, man. You know,
Yeah, man.
love you more than anything, little bro. And I trusted you at 10 years old, going down the whole strip.
Man, you know, that's important, man. And I thank you again, man, for trusting me again today, man, to bring you on this podcast, man, and you know, just talk some of these Chicago politics. You know what I'm saying? You know,
So,
because I know, man, you deep into it, man. You always rooting for the better. You know what I'm saying? Of the town, being a true Chicagoan. You know what I'm saying? Being born and raised here. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just a lot that you have seen. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of changes that have been made here in Chicago too, man. And you very aware of those changes. And you know, I see you a lot on Instagram, man. And you know, you're always voicing your opinion and trying to shine some type of light on what's really going on. But, you know, some things we might be looking over, you know, and you always try to put the magnifying glass on that. You know, man, you know, I want to start off, man. I want you to give the people an opportunity, man, to get a little background on you, exactly who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
my name Mario. I'm born and raised South Side in the Woodlawn area. I attended Dunbar. I've been to all Chicago public schools, from Sexton to Dunbar, even graduated from Columbia College. And the reason why I'm so into politics because that area I think our people ignore, but it makes them one of the largest impacts in our lives outside of our own family, outside our family, and we need to pay attention to how important that is because when you giving the government your tax dollars, you should expect some type of result from that. Every dollar you make, the government is getting at least 40% of that, close to 40, 50%. When you look at sales tax, when you look at title taxes, transfer taxes. A lot of these taxes, and that's not even including when you start financing stuff, interest even goes away. So a lot of your money is being used in other ways that there's no benefit, and government plays a large part in that. So what I bring to the table is I try to like my brother said, the, highlight the details, not the big headlines. I'm in the details because that's what trips us up. It's the small, intricate details that's written in the policy that create consequences that only benefit the corporations instead of the entire people.
Okay, all right. So what I want to know from you is, what was some of your defining experiences in like your upbringing in Chicago? What was that like? What did that look like?
Some of my defining experiences. I
Yeah.
remember, I remember one time I got robbed. One time
Mm,
I worked at Oscar in Hyde Park. We lived on 60th and Eberhard, and rest in peace to my mother. She was supposed to take me to go to work to get my check. She was like, wait for me, just give me a few minutes. I'm like, Mom, you taking too long. So I'm steady pushing the issue. So I said, I just end up walking to Hyde Park because if you live on Woodlawn and Hyde Park, it's not a far walk. It's a good, nice, decent walk. So on my way back, I got robbed by some BDs on my way back because they was up there robbing all the college students.
Wow.
And that right there told me the scripture my mother had, be anxious for nothing.
Mm.
That's one of the defining moments, be anxious for nothing. And from that point on, and she always tell me, the headlines will catch you, but the details will trip you up. And that point right there helps me view things in a whole different light than what I used to view.
Mm-hmm.
Anxious for nothing.
Anxious for nothing. I got another question I wanted to ask you. What was some of your childhood memories like growing up in Chicago, being just a Chicagoan? What is it that you have seen that has changed from when you was growing up to what you see now in Chicago?
Neighborhood schools. See, when I was growing up, the neighborhood schools, the people that lived in the community actually attended the neighborhood schools. You used to have all your friends. If you lived on one part of the community, you could walk to school with a group of friends, and everybody knew each other, and everybody's siblings grew up in those schools. So even as you grow older, and just say you might have friends who siblings get into the street, they can look at you and say, "Oh, that's such and such brother. He all good. He's a hooper. Oh, he's intelligent." That's one of the most strongest things in black businesses. I remember growing up in Woodlawn, there was a ton of black businesses, a ton of them. Every other block, you had Bose, you had H&A's, you had Fantastic Choice, even had the pool hall. There was so many black businesses where now there's only hardly any. There's probably about a handful with every block used to have a black business on there. So, and the thing is, what changed the dynamics is that was like culture and politics. Because when you start looking at the culture, some of the culture was like kids didn't adopt the entrepreneurship spirit like they elders. They was taught to go to college, get a salary, as opposed to understanding empowerment, and have control over your destiny. So when they inherit some of their elders' their businesses, they let them go or sold it. Then when you look at the politics of it, when you start increasing property taxes, creating TIF districts that take money out of the community, then now these people get the property owners raise the rent on the lease owners. Then if they losing businesses, next thing you know, boom, they got to go out of business. Then if they raise minimum wages, now they got to start paying more wages on a 14-year-old who's just probably sweeping. Now you're trying to make them pay. So it's a whole lot of intricate things with politics. You can move the needle left or right and make a huge impact, whether good or bad.
That's powerful. There was so many facts in there. So many. Growing up in Chicago, what were some of your unique challenges and opportunities? Something that you faced, something that you seen growing up in these streets, and how does that help today what you're trying to achieve?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. I remember when I was going into the 4th grade, in Hyde Park, there's a school called Ray. That's a magnet school. So my mother and the counselor in Sexton, Miss Sullivan, rest in peace, both of them, they fought so hard because I was too smart to be a Sexton. So what we had to do, my mother had a friend. My mother had this what made an impact on me too in my life too about why I got concerned about politics. So my mother had a friend that lived in Hyde Park, and we have to go over there every morning and pretend like we lived there because they used to check to see your residency. So I had my pajamas on, pillows, spent the night, Monday night, wake up Tuesday morning. And they did that like several days out the week, just randomly. So we had to go over there every day. So they had to make sure I met the residency requirement. And when I went to Ray, it opened my eyes to see how far behind that normal public schools are compared to magnet schools. Because I did a lot of catching up. Like by near the end of the year, I caught up with them. But then my mother saw I started having a lot of anger issues too, and anger and frustration during the course because I was trying to compete with kids who, when they was talking, what they was learning at the fourth grade, they was doing like sixth grade work in the fourth grade, and I'm coming from Sexton, and I was like, we was just learning just the bare minimum, third grade, second grade. These kids were advanced. But my mother always stayed on me, and that made an impact on me. And I transferred a year after that because she was like, you know what, it's taking a toll on me emotionally emotionally and mentally, because I was really getting exhausted because I had to really catch up with them kids. But when I came back to Sexton, fifth grade, my reading scores and everything was taking off. I was in fifth grade reading at a ninth grade level, eighth grade level at scores. Because then that just let me know how ill prepared that public schools really are compared to selective enrollment or favor schools. And that's what makes me more concerned, because I think everybody should at least get the same equal opportunity. You can't give equal results because people different. You just give them a shot, and where the chips lay, that's on them. So that's one of the most impactful moments, politically wise, and just in my life that made me really focus on politics.
Touch on some opportunities that you might have had, whether they were politically, whether they were whatever it was. Touch on a few opportunities that you may have had that you can see that was beneficial